Hey everyone, the name is Erik Thor, and last week I had this really difficult struggle. I was going over my content. I had just finished the INFJ handbook and I was thinking about it and I was like, God damn it, there's something I don't like about this. There is something that's been bothering me for a long time about the way I talk about personality psychology and the way I want to talk about it. Ideally, I could see that there was an ideal that I was searching for, but I couldn't tell what that ideal was. And then I realized when I was producing the INFJ handbook, somebody in the community said it really well. When are the books coming for the ENFP and the ENTP? And then I was realizing that, god damn it, like in talking about personality types, we're inevitably polarizing and putting people against each others, and we're making people feel excluded, and that's a struggle. Like, there's nothing wrong with searching and exploring yourself and who you are, but I wish you could do it in a way that connected to other people. I wish other people were allowed to say me too, and I wish other people could relate and find their own truth in relation to yours. And I wish people would realize that we have far more in common than we have differences. And then I kind of realized how I want to change and what I want to do next and what I want to do to grow this community and to hit the next level. So what I said was, we need to change to talking about personality types, to talking about the values that the personality types embody and highlight for all of us. And we need to think about what these values mean to us, no matter what our personality type is. We need to think about the INTP's desire value for intelligence, and we need to think about how we feel about intelligence and how important intelligence is to us, in which situations it's important and which situations it is not important. How do we see these values come off in ourselves, and how can we understand them? And here I kind of finally saw the bigger picture. I kind of started to understand the difference between the MBTI and the Enneagram. I realized that the MBTI was about our core values at the heart of our personality and how our mind is wired in our genetic setup, our unique genetic setup. And then I kind of realized the MBTI was talking about hardwired differences, things that we've always had. Yeah, we've always felt drawn towards independence, or we've always wanted perfection. We've always wanted kindness. Kindness has always been a core passion of us. It's always been at the heart of why we did what we did. And then I thought about the Enneagram in relation to that, and I kind of realized the Enneagram is about our secondary values, and it's about kind of things we felt growing up. It's about, for example, if we felt loved, if we felt accepted, if we felt like we fit in, if we felt like outsiders, if we felt in some ways like we were less than other people, or if we felt confident about our own ability, if we felt powerless in relation to other people. Yeah, all those things were important to factor in. And I saw in that the Enneagram is about things we all experience. No matter your personality type, you want to have a degree of power in which you can feel that you are influential and that your voice is heard and that people listen to you and take your advice into consideration. And we all want, to some degree, success, or we want to be liked, or we want to fit in. And that's something that everyone will be thinking about or relating to. Sometimes we won't be doing it in a smart way, and sometimes we'll be doing it in a smart way. And there is why I want to change from talking about, say, Enneagram 1 to talking about how perfectionism affects you as a person. I want to stop talking about the Enneagram 2, and instead I want to talk about why kindness is so important and what kindness really means. And instead of talking about, say, Enneagram 3, I want to talk about popularity and why we want to be popular and what causes us to want to be popular and how we can relate to this in a way that isn't unhealthy, in a way that can make us healthier and happier as people. And there's kind of where I saw the overlap into the Big Five. You know, the Big Five is this really scientific, measurable, evidential way of measuring personality. But what it does is only measure surface. Measure surface. It measures if you become an outgoing person or an open-minded person, compared to a reserved person, for example, or a narrow-minded person. And there I kind of realized that the big five is about what experiences we've had and how they've shaped us. So if experience and life has served you well, you probably are a quite stable emotionally person that is able to regulate your emotions and to keep calm and to keep under control. Where if you've had negative experiences and life hasn't served you well, you might struggle from anxiety and neuroticism and worry. And that's all a part of our makeup and how life has shaped us. And so the big five is kind of about what life has made us and how it's shaped us and where we are right now. So it paints the picture. Yeah, right now I'm kind of reserved and I'm kind of struggling with laziness and I don't really know what to do next. Yeah, that's where you are right now. And that's also related to your Enneagram. The Enneagram isn't scientific, but it's quality. It's about quality. It's about things we can think about. It causes us to think. The big five, it shows us where we are now, but it doesn't show us why. It doesn't understand or explain or attempt to explain the trauma or how we think about it or why we are reserved or what made us reserved or what excuses it. Because there is a story here that is important, equally as important as where we are right now, as the facts, the measures, the numbers, the statistics. There is also a story, an experience that you are feeling about how you are right now and where you are right now. And then that brings us to the Enneagram and the Enneagram's difficulties and how in feeling like outsiders we become more reserved and less likely to talk to other people because we worry about being judged by other people if we do. And we feel like other people don't like us anyway, so there's no point in talking to them. And then you finally start coming to the heart of things. Why am I doing what I'm doing? And then you start thinking about the MBTI and that brings you to your core values as a person. Yeah, introversion is not about being reserved. It has nothing to do with the fact, and a lot of introverts, if you read books about introverts and their experiences, a lot of them are quite outgoing. Like outgoing introverts such as myself, we value doing things, having things going on, starting up projects, trying out new things, having experiences. We want to live life and we want to experience it. And we feel that we have a story we want to share with people, experience that we want to share, insight that we want to talk about with other people. Really, it's often what I found is that as an introvert, I became more outgoing when I started accepting my introversion. That's the contradiction of it all. I realized I need a high degree of privacy in my life, and that's why at work I try to sit alone and I try to focus on my own work and I try to detach from everything that's happening around me so that I can do what I am passionate about. And that's also what allows me to, in a sense, produce a lot, to do a lot, to work faster. When I have things going around me all the time and I'm waiting for people when things are happening and I'm kind of thrown off and phone calls are going off and people are asking me questions, it's like I freeze and I perform worse and I do less. And it's also like I become less full of initiative. I become more careful and cautious. Like I find myself closing off a little towards other people. And in here, it's what I'm trying to tell you is your scores on the big five are directly related to how in touch you are with your personality traits, your core values from the MBTI. Thinking about this, okay, how in touch are you with your need for privacy if you are an introverted and intuitive type? How independent do you let yourself be if you are an intuitive and judging type? How curious do you allow yourself to be if you're an intuitive and perceiving type? And it's about that really, like that core word, allow. We need to allow and permit ourselves to be who we are. It's not necessarily that we can just go out and do it, and we kind of need to feel permitted too. And that's why we need to think bigger. We need to think not just about ourselves. It's not just about your own quest for personal understanding, but it's about the people around you, the friends you have in your life and at work. And it's about permitting them too to be who they are and to not tell them to stop being who they are, to not force them into an environment that is bad for them, because we need to mutually create an atmosphere and an environment that allows and tolerates everyone. And that's where I kind of see my next goal. I've always felt like I didn't just want to talk about personality, psychology, because I always wanted to go into sociology and into education, into work culture and how we're all living together and how we deal with national struggles and international struggles, loneliness, struggle, suffering, global warming, politics. What do we do? What solutions are we working toward? What society are we making for ourselves right now? And that's why in the next videos you will see, I will be talking about the values such as honesty and why we need to be honest with ourselves. And that's why I will be talking about why pragmatism isn't always the solution and why it's not always smart to do the pragmatic thing, why you sometimes need to do what's true to yourself, even if it's against the system or even if it's not what the system thinks is smart. And that's why I will be talking about like why we can't handle issues such as global warming, why it's so difficult for people to act when the climate is changing, when Earth is getting warmer and when we're getting more pollution. It's a change of direction, but it's always taking every lesson that we've made together up and it's putting it in a bigger context. It's putting the things that you've been going to and dealing with right now, for example, should I take that job or not? Should I pursue my career as an artist? Should I become a musician? What do I want to do with my life? And it's putting it in that global context of being a millennial or growing up today and what options are available to all of us and what we can do next. And in that, I really feel like I can finally connect more to the bigger picture. And I can see more threads and I can see more connections and I can feel less limited in the videos I make. And I can make better content for all of us. Now, the biggest change you'll be noticing is I'm not doing coaching anymore. No more individual coaching sessions, no more personality reports. It's just gonna be you and us, me and us, we together, the community, Discord. It's gonna be the videos, it's gonna be the writing, it's gonna be the blogs, it's gonna be the things that we publish and create together. So hopefully let's start some bigger discussions in the community. Let's create some uproar by challenging some of the stereotypes out there, by creating more richness in the content, by going deeper, by seeing more connections and being better at talking about and understanding and applying psychology to understand the global issues we're all facing together. Thank you all for watching, and if you are curious, I'm offering the INFJ handbook I just published now for free. The reason is I want everyone to read it and talk about it, and I feel like I need to give something back to all of you. I feel like I don't need the money as much as I used to. And I feel like I want other people to read these things, to think about it, and I want to start more discussions. So hopefully by putting it out for free, you will share it with your friends and family, and you'll use it to kind of spark the discussions that we need to change the world around us. It's at least a step, it's a start. It's where I am today. Thank you all for watching, and thank you for being with me in my journey, in our videos, in what we do, so that things can become better, so that we can learn more about ourselves, and so that we can learn more about our society.